Forrest, what do you think you're doing?
Mr. Edwards is teaching me how to spit.
It's hard to believe it's been half a century since Little House on the Prairie first made its way into living rooms, introducing millions to the heartfelt tales of the Ingalls family and their small-town adventures. Premiering on March 30th, 1974, this beloved series brought Laura Ingalls Wilder's classic stories to life, giving viewers a peek into the challenges, joys, and simple pleasures of frontier life in Walnut Grove. With Michael Landon's wise, compassionate Pa and Melissa Gilbert's spirited young Laura at the heart of it all, Little House didn't just entertain, it transported us to another time. And as we celebrate 50 years of this timeless classic, it's clear that the show's messages about family, resilience, and community still ring true. Let's take a nostalgic look at the lives of the actors who brought these unforgettable characters to life and how they've carried the show's legacy with them.
You never tried Jack up before. He doesn't like it.
I don't want you to free him, no matter what.
Melissa Gilbert as Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah. Want me to teach you how to clean up the chicken coop? No! I thought you'd say that.
First up, our darling Melissa Gilbert, the child star who played Laura Ingalls, was just 9. She went on to play it for 10 years. The star has now turned 60 years old, and she is still as lovely as she was. With her gray and stunning smile, she looks iconic. The charismatic child star even earned a Golden Globe nomination. In a 2022 interview, Gilbert said, "I have to say with 100% conviction that one of the greatest gifts of my life was being cast on Little House on the Prairie. I got to grow up on set with an incredible cast and crew. Everyone there is like a second family to me." Gilbert also worked in a few TV movies, including The Miracle Worker, 1979, and The Diary of Anne Frank, 1980. And guess what? At just 21, she became the youngest actress to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She went on to appear in over 40 made-for-TV movies. She even served as the president of the Screen Actors Guild from 2001 to 2005, the only third woman to hold that position. Gilbert was so talented, she authored 4 books, including Prairie Tale, 2009, My Prairie Cookbook, 2014, and Back to the Prairie, A Home Remade, A Life Rediscovered, 2022. Gilbert's personal life was a roller coaster ride. She married Bo Brinkman in 1988 and had her first son, Dakota, in 1989. After their split in 1994, she married Bruce Boxleitner in 1995, and they had a son, Michael, named after Landon, but they divorced in 2011. In 2013, she married Timothy Busfield, and the two eventually moved from Hollywood to Michigan and later to the Catskills in New York. She's now also the co-founder of Modern Prairie, a lifestyle brand geared toward older women. It's amazing to see how Gilbert and the show's legacy continue to inspire generations of fans. Michael Landon as Charles Pa Ingalls.
Well, if that's the case, you've been sick every day since I met you.
Michael Landon, born Eugene Maurice Orowitz, was already a well-known star when he joined Little House on the Prairie, with notable roles in I Was a Teenage Werewolf and Bonanza. Landon not only played Charles, the head of the Ingalls family, but also wrote, directed, and produced the show. The iconic actor made his way as an executive producer after Little House on the Prairie, Highway to Heaven. The iconic show ran for 5 seasons and reunited Landon with familiar faces from Little House, including Victor French, Richard Bull, Matthew Labourteau, and Shannon Doherty. In April of 1991, Landon announced that he'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Shortly after, he told Life, "Death's gonna have to do a lot of fighting to get me." He died on July 1st of that year at the age of 54. Landon had 3 marriages and 9 children. In 1983, his last marriage was with Cindy Clerico, a makeup artist on Little House on the Prairie, and they had 2 more children, Jennifer and Sean. Allison Arngrim as Nellie Olson.
I hate you, Laura! I hate you!
Allison Arngrim played Nellie Olson, a bully and main rival of Laura Ingalls. She has incredibly played the role of Nellie for 7 seasons. Nellie was the queen of sass, always causing trouble for Laura. He's not just living off her Little House fame. She's made her mark in various other ways. These days, Allison is an accomplished stand-up comedian, author, podcast host, and cooking show star. After Little House on the Prairie, Arngrim guest starred on The Love Boat and Fantasy Island. She continues to pursue acting on TV and stage. Her solo show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, premiered in New York in 2002 and has toured globally. In 2023, she mounted a new production of the play during the SAG-AFTRA strike. On top of all that, Allison's also an author. Her memoir, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, How I Survived, Nellie Olson and Learned to Love Being Hated, dives into her experience growing up in the spotlight and dealing with the ups and downs of fame. But we must say, she has come a long way, and she's still going strong, one hilarious project at a time. Karen Grassel as Carolyn Ma Ingalls.
Water looks so wild.
Don't worry. Wagon sound, the ponies are stout. We'll be all right.
How can we forget Karen Grassel, Carolyn, the matriarch of the Ingalls family in Little House on the Prairie? In 1982, Grassel left Little House on the Prairie, a year before the series ended. She later detailed her up-and-down relationship with co-star Landon on set. She was a tremendous stage actress before signing The Little House. She grew older, but her charm and personality is unmatched. She is still adorable even as she grows older. Her style and smile is magica. She left the Aries before one year the show closed. She later reveled that she was not in good trims with director Landon. She later reconnected with Landon and reconciled before he died in 1991. Mike and I ended on a positive note, and I was so glad for that, she said. She was leading a theater company in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Later, she joined the Actors Theater of Louisville in Kentucky. She is smart and intelligent, and she appeared in TV shows like Murder, She Wrote and Hotel, and played Mrs. Sutherland in the 1994 movie Wyatt Earp. Melissa Sue Anderson as Mary Ingalls.
Anyway, I asked if she could use me full-time for a while instead of just part-time, and she said she sure could.
Melissa Sue Anderson, our very own Mary Ingalls, brought such a unique grace and poise to Little House on the Prairie. Back then, she had this quiet, reserved personality, often the serious one, which totally fit her role as Mary. After Little House, she dabbled in a bunch of projects. Remember the horror flick Happy Birthday to Me in '81? Anderson stayed low-key but still popped up in shows and movies, like The Con Is On with Uma Thurman. She married Michael Sloan in '90, raised 2 kids, Piper and Griffin, and eventually made a new life in Canada, even becoming a citizen. Her latest project was The Con Is On with Uma Thurman in 2018. Rachel Lindsay and Sidney Greenbush.
I get to milk the cow.
Wow.
Real fine job, too.
Rachel Lindsay and Sidney Greenbush, the twin sisters behind little Carrie Ingalls, brought all the adorable energy to Little House on the Prairie. These two were always lively and fun on set, with Rachel being the more outgoing one. After Little House, Rachel had a bit role on Matt Houston, while Sidney took on Hambone and Hilly, but both eventually left acting to just be regular teens. Rachel's love story is pretty sweet, too. She married Danny Sanchez, whom she first met on set as kids. They reconnected 30 years later and tied the knot right under the same tree they met. Matthew Labourteau as Albert Quinn Ingalls.
I've been doing all right.
Come on, what do you mean you've been doing all right? You sleeping under a porch?
Next is Matthew Labiorto, a.k.a. Albert Quinn Ingalls, from Little House on the Prairie, first captured our hearts as the adopted son of Charles and Caroline Ingalls. Talk about a smooth transition. Albert was a character made specifically for the series, and Matthew brought him to life with that same warm, approachable energy that made him so beloved by fans. He is a handsome man in his 60s. After Little House, Matthew kept busy with guest spots on shows like The Love Boat and Night Court, and even dove into voice acting in the 90s, bringing characters to life in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He married his wife, Leslie, in 2020 and is a stepdad to her 2 kids. His latest projects might be more behind the scenes or in the voiceover booth, but Matthew's still doing what he loves. Jonathan Gilbert as Willie Olson. Jonathan Gilbert, who played the troublemaking Willie Olson, was the kid everyone loved to hate on Little House. Off-screen, though, he was more quiet and reserved, a total contrast to Willie's antics. After his Little House days, he was done with Hollywood by 18, deciding stocks were more his speed than scripts. He became a stockbroker in NYC, trading that mischievous grin for a suit and tie. Even though he's mostly out of the limelight, his sister Melissa Gilbert's memoir shares glimpses of his low-key, smart, and independent vibe.